Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here. Welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. Okay, so today basically, if you guys are not aware, the Act 3 for the event, okay, has been unlocked, the Chuck and the Prince Dragon. And as you can see, Act 1 and Act 2 is relatively easy. So if you guys have not done or complete farming Act 2 yet, you still have plenty of time, alright? So don't worry about it, you're gonna use that small stones. So Act 3 is the same as Act 2, basically you're farming a bunch of different stones, fighting a bunch of different enemies, mostly Fatuis. Okay, so as you can see, I've completed some of the challenges, got some Primogems, quite a lot of things here to obtain, a bunch of Moras and Primogems, but the more important thing is you're gonna be able to purchase some of the things from the event shop, alright? Make sure you guys clear out every single item in the event shop because it's free. Okay, so in the previous official event, you sort of had to choose because some of you don't want to spend your resin for the event, which I understand completely, the meteorite event. But right now in this event, look, everything, you don't have to consume a resin at all, not a single resin, and everything is free. Alright, you just need to spend some time. Obviously, if you're struggling, doing it in co-op, it's gonna help. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna purchase all of this, of course, but we're gonna prioritize the Festering Dragon Marrow. If you guys are not aware, what this does is this will give you the ability to boost or basically refine your sword, right? Okay, so choose for the option refine, you can select the stone as you can see, bam. Okay, so we're getting a R3 sword for free. Alright, literally getting this to refinement 3. As you can see, increases elemental damage, skill damage by 20% is increased to 24%, and the elemental skill crit rate from 7.5 to 9%. Alright, and it only costs like 2k Mora. So now we have a Refinement Rank 3. Okay, so one thing to note is this sword, I think is probably one of the best free-to-play sword ever for supports. Alright, for supports. I don't think you really want to use this for a main DPS unit, alright? Because ideally, if you're talking about main DPS, you should want to go for something like Prototype Rancor, for example. But if you're talking about like for swords for support, I do think that this is probably the best option for free-to-play players. Obviously, if you are a pay-to-win, there's plenty of 5-star options out there, right? But this sword is just insane. Alright, so with that being said, we're gonna try to refine this sword to level 90. Okay, I mean ascend. So let's go. Kablam. Alright, so that means we have the option of level 90 unlocked. And also, please try to get your weapon to level 90 as well, because during this event, you are getting the 1.5 times, alright, XP. So that is a lot of EXP. We can definitely abuse this for sure. Alright, let's see, how many of these do we need? So ideally, you're gonna need 100, 200 plus, I think, just to get from 80 to 90. But because we are getting 1.5 times more EXP, I think it should consume maybe like 150 at most. Okay, about 164 to 165, which is an acceptable amount. Should be, yeah, as long as it's less than 180, it's fine, right? So let me just use this. Okay, as you can see, 510 base attack and 45.9% energy recharge. So that is going to be super helpful. Alright, let's give you guys a thought on who is this weapon actually good for. Alright, like I mentioned, I don't recommend using this on your main DPS. Alright, we got another Primogems right there. Okay, in my opinion, in the current banner, I am pretty sure a bunch of you guys are trying to get Burnett. And if you obtain him, I do think that this is like the best in slot for him as a free-to-play. Alright, if you somewhat have the Skyward Blade, that's obviously going to be better because it's a 5-star weapon. But for 4-star weapon, there's really not much that can beat this sword. Why is that? It gives decent base attack. Alright, not the highest, but it's a decent amount, 510. And it has energy recharge main stat, right? So ideally, this is really good on Bennett because it gives you a lot of energy recharge. And Bennett needs that so that you can spam your Q more often, your elemental burst. So while Bennett is in this, we are like literally getting like 4.8k damage. Okay, so I am doing 60% more damage. That makes sense, alright. That's a bit too high for my Bennett actually. So that makes sense. The crit rate is whatever. Alright, so besides Bennett, let's talk about other potential characters that this sword might be good on. Alright, so first things first, Traveler. Okay, so I do think that sword is really good on Burnett because of the decent base attack and energy recharge. But for Animal, MC and Geo MC, I don't think you can benefit much from the energy recharge, alright? So it's somewhat okay. For example, I do have a Joe MC, and you can see the skill basically is about 6 to 7 seconds cooldown, 8 seconds cooldown, right? So it's not as spammable for someone like the Joe MC or the Animal MC compared to Burnett, for sure, right? So Burnett's skill cooldown definitely recharge faster, and he also can benefit from the energy recharge as well. So Xingqiu is going to be one of the few ones that I'm going to say no as well, unless you don't have the sacrificial sword. But ideally the sacrificial sword is the best in slot for Xingqiu. There's no beating this, because if you can proc this particular skill, you will be able to get your elemental burst again. And for Xingqiu, his elemental skill is not really there to deal damage, he's more of there to go for the elemental burst. And if you use Festering Desire on him, he has one of the longest cooldown for this particular elemental skill, which is 21 seconds. So I don't recommend using the Festering Desire on him at all, alright, unless you really don't have anything better. So Qiqi, again, same reason with Xingqiu, because of this particular skill, 30 seconds cooldown, and you can only benefit from this like every 30 seconds. The Festering Desire gives boost to your elemental skill, so I would refrain from using this awesome free-to-play sword on units that have high skill cooldown on their elemental skill. And let's have a look, what other options do we have. Now Kea is going to be a really good one. Alright, Kea's elemental skill has a cooldown of 6 seconds, so it is pretty spammable as well. So I do think that if your Kea is much more of a burst support, you just swap him in and occasionally just use the E skill, use the Q skill, this is going to be a good sword on him for sure, alright? And then if you look at some of the 5 stars, which I don't own, alright, we have Jin as an option as well. So Jin's skill, the elemental skill Gale Blade, also has a pretty fast cooldown, like every 6 seconds. So I guess this is not such a bad sword for Jin as well. It seems like it's a pretty good free-to-play option. And if you don't have anything better like the 5-star sword, Aquila Favonia, etc, this is going to be really good on her as well, from what I can see. And of course, I don't recommend using this on Keqing. Alright, if you have Keqing, probably you won't use skills like this. And besides, most players don't really use Keqing's elemental skill that much. She's more for her physical either or the elemental burst. So I would refrain from using this on Keqing. And lastly, if you have Albedo, for sure, this is going to be an awesome sword for Albedo. Now Albedo's elemental skill is like every 4 seconds, which is insane. Alright, so it is pretty spammable. And obviously I've seen some builds out there that uses Harbinger of Dawn, and I thought that is a pretty good idea as well to use for Albedo. But of course the Festering Desire is going to be a decent option for him, not gonna lie. And also energy recharge can be good on him, right? So since that means that he can spam his Q more often, right? And he's going to fit much more as being a support than a main DPS role, so therefore I do think this weapon is gonna be pretty good on him. Overall, I think this is a really good weapon, and you guys need to build your weapon right now, alright? While the event is still on, try to get it to level 90. Like I mentioned, it's insane value on Burnett, alright? I've been using this on Burnett. I would love to try this on Kea as well, and I think it's going to be really good on him as well. But I feel like Kea is going to fit that main DPS role much better than a Burnett, right? So definitely good on Burnett, good on Kea for 4 stars, and Jin and Albedo for 5 stars. Obviously, we're going to have more characters that uses a single-handed sword in the future, but for now, if you somewhat have one of these 4 characters that I mentioned, and you don't have any weapon for them, give them the Festering Desire. You're not going to regret it. It's going to be an insane weapon for anyone. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope I'll be making more guides for the remaining weapons and let you guys know what are my thoughts on it. As always, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, give this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.